Are you trying to figure out how to make Socket.io listen on multiple ports? You're not alone. This is a common question among developers, and today we're going to solve it together. I totally get it. It can be really frustrating when you can't find updated answers for your coding questions. Many resources out there are outdated, especially when it comes to Socket.io. Here's the specific situation we're addressing. A user wants to know if they can have a single Node.js instance listening on two different ports. They want to handle different types of clients separately. Sound familiar? Let's dive into this. So what's the deal with listening on multiple ports? In Socket.io, you can indeed set up multiple servers to handle different connections. This allows you to manage different client types effectively. And stick around. At the end of this video, I'll share a quick tip that will help you optimize your Socket.io setup even further. To allow a single Node.js instance to listen on multiple ports, the user can create separate HTTP servers for each port. This means they will need to set up a second server instance. Next, the user should listen on the first port, which is already set up in their code. They can keep the existing code for the first server. Now, the user can create a second server instance for the second port. This involves duplicating the server setup and specifying the new port number. Finally, the user should set up the connection handling for both socket instances. This allows them to manage different types of clients appropriately. Fun fact, did you know that the first WebSockets were introduced in 2011? It's amazing how far we've come in real-time web communication. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative approach suggests creating two separate Express servers, each listening on a different port. This allows you to bind two Socket.io instances to these servers, enabling you to handle different types of clients effectively. However, be cautious with this design. As your business grows, you may run out of available ports. A more scalable option could be to explore namespaces within Socket.io. That wraps up that answer. Let's move on to another one. This user suggests that a single HTTP instance cannot listen on multiple ports. Instead, they recommend creating two separate HTTP instances. The first instance listens on port 7000, while the second instance listens on port 7001. Additionally, they mention that you can manage different types of clients using a single socket by utilizing namespaces. This allows you to handle connections more effectively. Now, let's dive into a different answer from another user. An alternative approach shared by another user involves setting up your Socket.io server to listen on multiple ports by using command line arguments. They suggest checking if a port is provided. If not, it defaults to port 3030. You can run your Socket.io server with a specific port by using the command node.socketio.js, followed by the desired port number. This allows you to have multiple instances of the Socket.io server running simultaneously. That's the end of that answer. Let's see another perspective. An alternative solution provided by another user involves using Express to create a server that listens on two different ports. They set up an Express app and use the app.listen method to run the server on port 2000 and then again on port 2001. Here's that quick tip I promised. Always keep your Socket.io version updated. This ensures you have the latest features and security improvements. And there you have it. You can now have your Node.js instance listening on multiple ports. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more coding tips and tricks. Happy coding!